Live. Hope you're having a great day. I'm off to a terrific start, and I want to really make this a valuable opportunity for all of us to interact, network, knowledge share, make this the best 30 minutes of your LinkedIn day. And with that said, feel free to introduce yourself to everybody else. This is going to be seen by hundreds of thought leaders and more going forward. So don't be the best kept secret on LinkedIn. So with that said, jumping into the topic today, which is really focused on making the proper relevant connections, to make it a win-win-win opportunity. And who are the three wins? Well, it's the individual that you're interacting with, it's yourself, and it's LinkedIn. And you need to take care of everybody in the proper balance in order to optimize your reach and influence. And LinkedIn looks at everything you do and measures it and determines how relevant it is. And based on that, will either broaden your audience or limit your audience. And if you send people outside of LinkedIn, you hardly ever get seen. And that's one reason not to put in links to outside sources like your website in your content. If you want to put it out there, and I do, put it in your comments. So just little things like that you need to be aware of to understand why you're getting reach and why you're not, why you're getting interaction and why you're not. And if you do what LinkedIn wants you to do, LinkedIn will help you do what you want to do. And then it all comes down to the messaging and distribution to the right audience of your content to benefit the individual who you're looking to interact with. So those are key. And, I think it's necessary to put a little thought and planning into what you're doing, but mostly reviewing. To make it win-win-win, you have to understand what are the objectives of the individuals you're working with. How can you best serve them? And at the end of the day, it's all about value add. Are you giving more than you're asking for? Are you giving without asking? Those are key. So, hopefully all of this kind of blends into what you're already involved in, because most change on LinkedIn is gradual. If you make, I keep saying this, little things done right over time compound. And that's so important to people's message, as well as people's belief that they can do this. And, it's nice to see some progress. It's nice to be surprised on the upside sometimes. And that's why innovation is so important. Standing out, distinguishing and differentiating yourself. LinkedIn has 875 million members. You're just one in the crowd unless you can do what others can't or won't do. And the ones who show up are the ones who make out. And the ones who show up for others do even better. So really look at this as a exercise to see what your giving muscle is, and then build on it, and eventually depend on it to come back to you if you're creating huge value. Let the value speak for itself and act for you, instead of just marketing something, and that just shows insecurity in letting someone feel and experience it if it is a great, wonderful experience. If anybody out there wants to say hello and be introduced on screen, feel free. Glad to have you. If you have any questions out there, okay, we've got Mike here. Thanks so much, Mike, from Massachusetts. So glad to have you. I hope I can make this time worthwhile, and really appreciate interaction, because I'm trying to make this show more your show and me just kind of facilitate and support it. So, Mike, thanks again for coming. If you have any questions or anybody else out there has a question, I'd love to put it on the screen. Let the group kind of go at it. And, the other day we had three really high-end thought leaders who ended up interchanging or exchanging 30 different messages during the show because they were getting into solving problems. And, you're here to learn, but you're here to come up with takeaways that you can apply and justify the time and use this to network. Reach out to Mike. Well, here's Mike. We can make this about Mike. It was kind of coincidental how I found this live. I was just in LinkedIn. I just inadvertently clicked on the bottom that said live, and it was you talking. So that was pretty cool. You don't know how cool it is, Mike. I've been posting every day for 3 years. And 7 months ago, going on 8, I decided to do a LinkedIn Live every day, 7 days a week. And it really has elevated and distinguished my message and my audience, because the people who gravitate to LinkedIn Live are into live, real conversation with real people in real time. And, that's the lifeboat. You can get off that big boat where to me, it's a lot of chaos, to a safe harbor with your own boat, with your own people on your own channel. And this is what this does. So, Mike, great to have you on. If you'd like to, appear on screen, be happy to bring you on too. So anybody else out there who wants to really promote themselves in a LinkedIn centric way, feel free. This is what you're here for, so anybody want to introduce themselves, share where they're from, say hello to Mike. And that's what I would do, is while I was listening, I'd be making connections and sending connection requests, because to me, everything is about time efficiency. That's your biggest currency that you spend on LinkedIn, and where you spend it and what you get for it. Not so much what you get back for it, unless you're looking at the long game, which it is, and playing for getting better every day. Everybody wants a prize, but no one says they're qualified. You got to get better. When you get better, things will start coming back to you. And the best way to get better is to get bigger with giving. And I know that's hard, but if you're not getting things the way you want them with what you're doing right now, then change. You can always go back. You never know what you don't know. And that's what I've always found. And, there's a saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Well, what are you doing today? How serious is it? How serious are you taking it? And more importantly, how serious are you applying it? This is not a tough job. If you put in 8 hours a day, you'd be ahead of 99.9% of the people on LinkedIn. So right there, you'd be head and shoulders above the crowd. And then if you did something on a cool platform that you really had nothing to do with, like LinkedIn Live, and there's nobody else there, that's another competitive advantage. All you got to do is get better than everybody else at what everybody else does consistently. And if better means anything, you'll be doing better. And you'll be challenging yourself. And more importantly, start believing back in yourself instead of being at the bottom, looking at the top and wondering how. Once you're at the top looking down, it makes going up so much easier the next time. And that's what I encourage people. That's what this show is about, is to step out of the shadows. Don't be LinkedIn's best kept secret. If that's what you're here for, then great. You're doing okay. But if you're really telling yourself, how come I'm not doing better? How come my posts aren't getting enough, readership? What are you doing different? Are you doing a newsletter? And more importantly, who you're working with. Because I believe if you can't do it, maybe we can. And that's the difference. Maybe it's just too much for anyone to scale this things by themselves. It's changing so quick. There's knowledge. And that's what these sessions are for, is to wake up with a question and get an answer when you leave. And if nothing else, you build community. and you show you're the first one to share and the first one to oversample uh, because you believe in what you're providing. You're proud of it. It's like going to the state fair and showing your jellies or whatever. So, I think that's the key to win-win-win. If you give first, you're never questioning, should I have given more? You ever give someone a tip and it was the lower end of what you were thinking? And when you left, you kept thinking about, why didn't I give the bigger tip? And the difference wasn't worth the thought. And it's the same thing on LinkedIn. Where do you put your minutes? Why do you put them there? What do you intend to get back from them? What did you get back from them? And what's your next plan for tomorrow? Is it set and forget? Or is it like taking the best and then moving new stuff into what didn't work? It's like a comedian's routine. Jokes come in, jokes come out. It's all audience based. When they work, they keep working. When they don't, they get replaced. If you know where everything is and what everything does and why you put it together the way you did, then change is very simple. It's incremental. It's not major. It's not going in with a chainsaw. It's real, and it's also more fun, like a chess game. It becomes a puzzle. And, like any puzzle, it becomes more intriguing. And anytime you're into anything like that in that way, you're into something bigger than yourself. So you don't major in the minors. You don't get picky. You don't get, there's so much stuff that gets in people's own way because of what they put there that, once you can get with a group, you free yourself from yourself and you get to be a smaller part of a bigger group that has more value, more capabilities. And really, that's what this is all about. So, hopefully, there was a lot of learning that took place today. I do this every day. It goes longer typically when I have a guest, and I've got some great guests. This week I had Gretchen Skalka, I had Jenny Maxwell, I had Tara Gooch. Next week I've got 5 more guest hosts lined up. And really, support what you support. Get people involved. Be the advocate or be the connector that brings people more value. And sometimes all you have is the value you have. It's not enough to keep distributing quality value. So share something like this, introduce people to each other. Take what you have and work with it. Start where you are and who you are and build on it. It's all that, take that first step. And hopefully this show and future shows will encourage people to take the initiative and not wait for things to happen, but really create things happening. So with that said, unless there's some other comments or individuals who have something to share, I want to thank everybody for taking the time. How can I go live with you? Well, if you want, I'll just send let's have a Zoom, and then let's schedule a LinkedIn Live for you, Mike. I think it'd be great, and I encourage everybody else to get on the show. You are the show, or the reason for the show's being. And, I think that's so important. Let me see. It was kind of, okay. Okay, we've got some more people. So we got some more life here. Maria's here. Thanks so much, Maria. You've been a great support for the show, and your comments have been extremely valuable and insightful. So, okay, quick question. Okay. What is the best way to offer freelance recruitment services to companies? Well, that's it. Okay. The best way is to provide what you do in how you broadcast, whether it's through posting or LinkedIn Live, you will then attract interest based on the value people perceive. So the key is not going one-to-one, but one-to-all and letting all become the one. So whatever you do best, and everything I see, everything I hear is give away the best stuff you got for free to everyone. And that gives people the best of what you got, the best of you. And the hope is that they want more than they can get that way. And they want to go one-on-one or one in a group, preferably, and have it personalized. Okay, I was thinking of doing it now. Okay. Well, why don't we do it now then? So I'm just curious. Let me send you a link, Mike. And here it is. Okay, we don't want to do that. Okay. Let me. Why don't you send me your LinkedIn profile and I'll put it in a message to you. So with that, when you say not when you're, let me see. So I put this message in. Anyways, it's a little confusing. When you say, Maria, posting usually, okay. Not sure what you mean by honest. Okay, freelance rather than traditional hire. Okay. I think it's really about the value you bring. Okay. And what you show, and you let okay, that's Mike's LinkedIn. I will now send him the link. This is the first time I've invited people on the show when the show was going on. No, I'm not doing that. Well, ask some more questions. I'll catch up to you. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, Mike. This is getting a little confusing. So, let me get Mike on real quick. Okay. Okay. So here, Mike. Okay, now that we got that covered. So yeah, Maria, not sure what you mean by honest. Okay, John's here. Maria, if you can get a little more definition, happy to help. Good day, sir. My respects to you. Appreciate it, John. You're a great guy. I hope everybody uses the opportunity to get to know Mike and Maria and John. Okay, had no idea. Well, that's the key, is to get some ideas, and we're all in this together. So the key thing is being able to work together and be the person who brings people together. Okay, it did work. Here's Mike. Some ideas. And we're all in this together. Mike finally did it. You're the first one. So is being able to work together and be the person who brings people together. Okay, it did work. Here's Mike.
Hello. This is really cool. I am, hold on a second. I've got to turn off. I'm sitting here. I started on my mobile device and then I went to my desktop. So
Okay, well, it's good it's on your end.
yeah,
Because
let me
I'd be
fix it. I
I'd be
just need to
looking
turn this off. Hello. All right, how's that? This is really cool. I am, hold on a second. I've got to turn off. I'm sitting here. I started on my mobile device and then I went to my
I think it's still coming through, Mike. Okay, well, it's good it's on your end.
Yeah, let me fix it. I just need to turn this off. This is weird. It's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Well, maybe you should turn off restream, what you were listening to, and just be on this. So in the meantime, let me recognize some more people. This is kind of interesting. It just shows you what LinkedIn Live is all about geographically for some of our work, Maria. Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Sheila. I love spontaneity. Well, this is learning together for sure. So I think if anybody else has anything to say, again, use this as a networking opportunity and a learning opportunity. Mike, what's going on?
I figured it out. I had two instances in my browser, so sorry about that.
Oh, not a problem. Like I say, I'm figuring it out on my end. Might as well figure it out on your end too. And
yeah,
that's the beauty of doing LinkedIn Live is you learn from everything that you do, good
right.
or not so successful. But there's a saying, there's never failure, only feedback.
That's right.
So Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and
Sure.
what you do, and let's try and keep it LinkedIn centric.
Yeah, very, very simple. I left my corporate career, 20 years telecom, managed IT, sales executive, management, stuff like that. In 2019, I started a business. I've always had a passion for CRM and information management. So I started down the path of, really just helping businesses, consulting. I thought I was going to be a marketing agency, and now we just kind of, I guess we've evolved into a technical delivery, marketing, sales support. But I'm really evolving my business into like as a RevOps consultant now. And so that's what we're really focused on. Although, all of our business right now is primarily around Zoho development, web tech development, that type of stuff for clients. And so we really just help clients deal with the technology that's just, very hard to manage. Just the information around trying to manage being active on LinkedIn or any social platform is a process. So building the frameworks to be able to have the teams within the company be able to, go out and actually do it consistently and do it effectively. And so those are the kind of things that we're focused on, helping companies put together a CRM. We're Zoho partners, so we primarily, the technical part of our business focuses around helping clients to use Zoho and adopt Zoho. There's companies out there who've been using it forever and don't really quite know how to put it together the most effective way. Zoho has a solution. It's called Zoho One. It's a business operating system. Many people don't even know about it. They can buy a single license for $450 a year, and literally have every application known to man, including things like bookkeeping and CRM and marketing automation and all these applications, like 50 plus applications. And even if it's a solopreneur, it's a great kind of solution to really start your business. And you don't have to get it all programming. We have clients that spend a lot of money programming because it has facets that will allow the business to literally build their own application and manage their own customization. I've got one client in Pennsylvania.
How do you use LinkedIn and how do you see LinkedIn?
So Yeah, good question. So right now, I'm I'd like to do more organic type stuff like this. And this is kind of my first time doing anything like this. And I find it very intriguing because I'm much better kind of one-on-one and in more of a, direct versus trying to put out. I see a lot of folks do great stuff on LinkedIn, creating very organic content, getting a lot of traction. And we've done okay, but most of the stuff that we do is really, I don't have the time because I'm running projects. So this type of stuff is more up my alley. And so this is what kind of intrigued me about clicking in and seeing what was going on today.
Yeah, that's great because there's so many people like you who don't know programs like this exist, or that they can leverage and complement what they're doing, or actually redirect what they're doing to better return on time, thought, and
Yes,
investment. And the other cool, there's so much to it, and I've been doing it, like I say, every day for 7 months.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
well, I've learned so much because of the rhythm you get into.
Yeah,
By the time you're off of yesterday's thinking of all the cool stuff that took place,
yeah,
you're now into the next morning of building on it. So
yeah,
it's not like, hey, it was a week ago, what do I want to talk about? And the other thing I found is if everything is value and service focused on the audience, right?
hmm,
And they know you're there every day at a certain time, which I am, every
yeah,
day, 11 a.m. Eastern time, uh, then they know they can drop in. And now I'm starting to convert it
yeah,
to now an audience supported and interactive, like gym,
yeah,
right? Like work out for 30 minutes here with a lot of people like you, make connections, get questions answered. And I just become a facilitator because ultimately, whatever you do to have value needs to be sustainable, duplicatable, and scalable.
right.
And
Yeah,
LinkedIn gives you the audience, gives you the platform. You just got
right.
to aggregate.
Yeah. And they've done a good job of removing the spammers, quite honestly. You just don't get the boost. And the one thing that I've heard before, and you just confirmed, which was to not put links to your website. Like when we started, we were always putting links back to our blog posts and stuff like that, thinking that that was going to drive, and it hardly ever did. And you were talking about putting it into the comments. So we started doing that a couple of months ago. And so now we'll just continue to, move that direction and not bother putting them in the post, really, because you're just trying to bring a little bit of value, not too complicated, not, understanding that LinkedIn kind of looks at it as spam. And so everything LinkedIn has done has really always been around keeping the quality of the media coming in and the posts and stuff like that, which is, I appreciate that. It's good.
Yeah, well, I think that the other element is to learn every skill set to the point of having a competitive advantage of those who don't.
Hmm.
Knowledge is power. I not only have I done a LinkedIn Live every day for 7 months, I've posted every day for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I haven't missed a day in 1,000 days. Uh, and what happens is your action speaks louder than your words.
Yeah.
So when people see you doing it and doing it well and never quitting, that's inspiring just from being around it. If you were
Yeah.
walking to school and you saw someone running the track every time you were there,
Yeah.
uh, we've got Poonam here, who's here almost every day. What I
Yeah.
love about this is you build a core that finds this time worth more than they can invest in themselves
Yeah.
because they've already done that.
And
And that's where they're at.
let me ask you a quick question. So how many times have you been on here and nobody shows up? And how do you, because I find it difficult to sit there and talk to what may be an audience or may not be an audience, but I had no idea how many folks you had on this morning, and you were just talking away and with very little interaction. So I decided to introduce myself, and I thought you were doing amazing. I was like, I don't know if I could do that.
Well, I appreciate that. And, that's what this is all about, is making people feel, not just think.
Yeah.
There's plenty of places to get knowledge. You can Google and YouTube till you're blue in the face, and
Yeah.
you get everything that's out there, and that's a lot to at least be conversational. But you actually saved a meeting, and to your question, I do me for a certain period of time, and then I'm done. Now, if I've got 13 minutes in me, right, without getting repetitious or just talking to talk, then it goes downhill, and that's where it ends. Now, what I've changed in the last 2 weeks is, like on the ticker, feel free, just introduce yourself, encouraging more and more, just say who you are, because to your point, not only are there so many people watching this here, my typical yesterday's got over 200 people watching it after, thought leaders. I mean, really interesting people. And 400 views, and it's legacy. It's evergreen, right? It'll keep playing forever here or there. So the point is anybody who gets on the screen, even by like Poonam, right, is going to get.
Hi, Poonam. Nice to meet you.
But he's going to get like 200 people seeing his name right now.
Yeah.
Right. And why wouldn't you get on the screen? I applaud you for and I wanted to make this, and it was in the there's a pre-post I put out 45 minutes before the program goes on, like to get people aware. And I said this was going to be open mic. But like yesterday, I was with Tara Gooch. I don't know if you know her.
Yeah.
But she's a superstar, and we've been doing a LinkedIn Live almost every Friday for the last 4 months. And she found me from a LinkedIn Live I did, reached out to me and said, I just saw your LinkedIn Live. Can we have a Zoom? And within a week, we were doing LinkedIn Lives, and that's been 3 months. Since that, she's been talking to NASDAQ and flying to Washington, getting all kinds of exposure.
That's so cool.
Well, yeah, then I got Gretchen Skelko on Mondays. We do one every Monday. And then I've got Jenny Maxwell. And these people draw a crowd, a really quality crowd. And they also simulcast on their own LinkedIn. Right. So now they're getting my audience. I'm getting their audience. You're really leveraging. Here's Samir. Thanks for coming today. Hello, Don from UAE. This is really getting to be a family.
This is neat. I can't even believe, I think I see you're in my LinkedIn feed, but I didn't even know you did this, quite honestly. And then, like I said, this morning, I'm just checking a few messages on LinkedIn, and I'm seeing this live thing, and I could hardly see it on my phone. I just clicked on it. There you are talking away. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Everything I do is focused on this LinkedIn Live. If you go to my profile, the whole profile tells you LinkedIn Live, 11 a.m. every day. If you look at my background picture, it's the same thing.
I'll definitely be back. I'll definitely be back. I mean, we're here to help, small mid-market companies, grow and using, I hate the word digital transformation, but at the end of the day, many companies are doing it wrong or whatever. And, I want to help as much as I can. And so, I'm got my clients, but I'm always willing to help an entrepreneur and help bring them to a place where they can focus on their business, not worry so much about the organizational stuff that has to be done every day.
Yeah, well, that's great. And when you can marry mind and heart, and that's what I really find about a show like this. First of all, it's organic. Second of all, it's all value based. I don't sell anything. I'm not promoting anything. I'm not promoting myself, because the less of me, the more of you.
Yeah.
And once you start feeling and getting better, you start changing the way you do things.
You don't have to really sell. I know I was selling a little bit early on in my introduction, because that's just, the default always. But at the end of the day, if I can help somebody, I'm totally willing and able to do so, even
Well,
if I don't make a sale.
well, what I would suggest is go to my profile, everybody, if you choose,
Yeah.
and go to like yesterday's LinkedIn Live with Tara, or go to Wednesday's, which just was the biggest one ever with Jenny, and watch it. And none of them talk about anything they do or anything they sell.
Right. Because
but
people can
here's the
figure
thing.
it out. People can figure it out. If they want to know, they're going to go to your profile. They're going to see what you do. Right.
Yeah, and that's the key. Is initially you got to build trust, likability.
Yeah.
You know, and people want to feel better for being around you.
Yes.
Some people are
100%.
like elevator buttons. You know, some take you up, some take you down. Everything ripples when you leave someone.
Yeah.
You know, so it carries over. And you know, to me, if you have enough confidence and belief in the value you bring,
oh yeah,
right, what you want is a proper introduction before you have to promote it, because it gives you a chance to qualify the person and the needs. Because most people, what I find, they sell before someone shows an interest in buying.
Right, like all those messages you get on LinkedIn in your inbox.
Yeah, so I'm
like,
saying,
I don't even know who you are, and you're already trying to close me.
Well, and I'm saying is anybody who goes the opposite way is going the unexpected surprise way.
Right.
Right. You, until someone says, I need something, you can't say, I got a solution for you.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the key.
Like a counseling session. Geez, come on.
Well, and it really what it is people put things in the wrong order. You know, they just need to
absolutely
like a closet organizer, right? They just go out, unclutter it, put it back together, and then do it the right way. But here's the thing. It's too much trouble to figure it out. I've been doing this 3 years. What I do is expand what I'm doing here on a more personalized basis, because I've got a LinkedIn Live program on my website. You know, I'm not here to sell, and I've got a couple of other consulting programs where someone could just come in and say, hey, let's put this on a table, see what we got, and put it together the right way, and then leverage LinkedIn Live to project, you know, because what I promote is what I do every day, how I do it, and what I get from it. And that way a person says, if I step into your shoes, do exactly what you do, how you do it, and the way you do it, I should get the same benefit.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's your sell, if you want to call it a sell, then trust me, or put the money in and go, if come the other thing I do, everything is month to month. So I have a choice every month with who I work with.
Yeah.
And hopefully I don't want people to keep doing the same thing. What I'm hoping to do is see bigger opportunities that one can leverage bigger groups at a more cost and time efficient manner. One-on-one is the most inefficient, unscalable model there is.
Right.
Right. If you charge somebody $300 for an hour session, and that information's pretty much quality information that everybody in that same group could use. Well, if you charge them $30 and you had 100 people show up, it becomes far more accessible for everybody. And the value is incredible for all the win-win-win part.
Right.
So, you know, that's where this is going, because in my prior life, I ran huge companies, my own. I only owned and founded my own companies that were major Amazon, Walmart.com marketplace partners.
Yep.
Promoting hundreds of thousands of items a day. So when I left that after 37 years, came here, and I said, you can't commoditize people like you can products, but you can organize them. You could, you know, drive them in a positive direction. And the numbers are so incredibly skewed to anybody who does anything on LinkedIn relative to most people do nothing.
Right. It's ridiculous how people just don't know what to do. Like, we have people that want us to hire, they want to hire us to help run their LinkedIn program, like their business profile and different things like that. And we're trying to figure out how to do that. But this is really where it's at. is like get a live going, and you're getting the real deal, the organic material that your audience wants to see.
Yeah, and you're doing it on a platform that LinkedIn announces you, and then automatically post your video as soon as it's done. And of
They're
course,
promoting it. It was like ridiculous how easy it was for me to just click into this thing, and then you're like, "Oh yeah, sure, come on." I'm like, okay.
yeah, when I figure out how to put the link, I tried to put the link on the it's in the message.
You're like dynamic. I love it. This is right up my alley. So definitely be back
Well,
on this
let's do this.
program.
I'll send you. Let's have a Zoom call.
Yeah,
and we can share some stuff.
that would be great. That would be great. You're in Colorado. I'm in Massachusetts. So
yeah, well, you know, it's the beauty of everything here. It's global.
Yeah,
and
I know.
It's informational. And here's ultimately what a person should want to do.
Yeah,
is project their knowledge, not their activity.
Right.
Right. It's what you know and how and who you are, and it's your voice. And that's why I decided to do LinkedIn Live every day. Is what could I do for 30 minutes every morning? You know, that could be better than this, because, you know, if someone said, hey, you're in a big conference center, and you see these conference rooms, there's 200 people waiting to hear what you got to say today.
Right.
Right. And they took the time, effort to be here. Can you step in for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
And do it relative to what would you have done with that 30 minutes if you weren't here?
It's amazing. It truly is. I have actually thought of these live opportunities, but I just, you know, with all the busyness, you have to get that cadence and get that routine going and be strategic about your decisions on how you're going to spend your time versus just, you know, going through your day. I mean,
yeah, and you see, once you can start innovating, right, and creating, and the message is really the people wanting to be, you know, in real, you know, with this whole isolation stuff.
Yep.
And even commenting is drop it off, pick it up, do something else, and it's kind of superficial. People want to be with real time and real.
Yeah, this is powerful. Like I started interacting a little bit on, sorry to interrupt, a little bit on Reddit because there's different groups that are talking about the stuff, and I'm like, that's pretty engaging, and it's really cool. But this is beyond that. But the point is that I like to. I'm going in and I'm answering questions of people that are asking questions about products and services that I'm involved in. I love to do that in a live manner. I mean, I take hundreds of calls every year and talk to people and help them solve problems. And, you know, I'd love to do that type of format in this way, because when you can do that and you can be put on the spot and you can have a good answer, that's genuine, that's organic, that's what people want to hear.
Yeah, and the thing is there is no filters. It's not opaque. People see you for who you are.
Yep.
Knowing you don't even know they're looking, right? So everybody gets a free preview, and when they finally connect with you, they've already somehow pre-qualified, right? Because they're taking, you know.
I have people call me all the time, and it's like they've already decided to do business with me before I've even hung up the phone. I'm like, they've never even met me, but they've done their research or whatever. There's a big stat out there that talks about that. It's like 72% of the, my daughter just came in and she gave me this weird look. She's like, what are you doing? And it's that, I think it's a stat that's like 72% of people that have decided to pick up the phone and call you have already decided to do business with you.
And and the thing is they get a stab at it for as long as they want, sampling until they're ready.
Yeah.
So basically, Poonam says, Don, I think these live members are my family. Well, you know, it's so true, because the same people who are attracted to LinkedIn Live and what we're doing, you know, continue to build with the people who are here now. Good to meet Mike. Good to know more about
you, John.
This window helps us to meet great professionals. You know, and that's what you got to do is everything is $1 in, a minute in. What do you got coming out?
Everybody has value. It's just willing, it's whether or not they're willing to share that in a way that connects with the audience. And I love this type of stuff. This is, you
It's
just changed my,
powerful.
you just literally, Don, you just changed my life today.
I
And
bet.
I had no idea.
You know, a year ago, I would have never known. But, you know, something happened with somebody. And I'll tell you an interesting, do yourself a favor. Go at least watch the first 5 or 10 minutes of Tara, Jenny, and Gretchen.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll get a real, they're professional. And all three of them, and they even give a testimonial somewhere,
Yeah.
say they had no, they were so not intimidated by doing LinkedIn Live, but had no real desire. And
Right.
since we've been doing it, they've exploded on it.
It changes everything, doesn't it? Because
Yeah.
people are so hungry for organic truth and just raw material. It's, the world's changed so much. The, you know, like you were saying, even the comments, the superficial comments, even some of them are very good, but it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't solve anything really for your moving your business forward. They don't really know who you are. It's just contextual.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's superficial and it's hard to distinguish and differentiate yourself. When you're on LinkedIn Live, it's you.
Yeah.
You know?
You're not hiding. You're not hiding from anybody.
But here's the beauty of it, is it's perfect for people starting out because it takes no preparation and there's no homework, right? When it's done, it's done.
Which is perfectly how I operate my business every day. I'm always, you know, flying by the seat of my pants and solving problems and fixing things, moving business projects forward. And so
well, the difference could be is turning it up to the point where 30 minutes of your time impacts 100 people at a time.
It's more impactful, yes. Even if nobody gets on, you can at least have that recording.
Well, and plus the thing is you get to redefine and reinvent yourself by now maybe getting into different levels of service.
Yeah.
Right? Based on strategic relationships and not products.
Yep.
And here's the beauty. It's about you, for you, you know, supporting you.
Right.
And so many people aren't where they want to be, aren't satisfied, or believe they've got more value than people are appreciating.
Absolutely. 100%. Like I said, everybody has value. It's willing. It's just depends on how willing you are to share it in the right venue, in the right context. And, you know, and with people that care, like this group right here.
Like I say, do yourself, and then go to my website. You can see my programs. I'll send you a
all right, you're hired. You're hired. I already have one consultant. Now I got another.
No, but the thing is why not get, you know, buy some vowels, solve the puzzle, get to the fast lane, you know, really accelerate, because you do have value and experience that people should know about and should have access to. Right. And all you're doing is auditioning when you're doing LinkedIn Live. You're on, and no one cares about you. It's all about what's in it for them. And that's great because, you know, if you had one great meal and 2 people at a table, would it make sense that somebody would enjoy that meal while the other person waits for theirs versus let's divvy it up, or no one eats until the second one comes? You know, sir, if you have confidence, if you have patience, if you have belief, which they say, you know, faith is the ability to believe in the invisible. You know, if you can look beyond and know that by doing it, it's going to become it. Right. Right.
Well,
it takes.
You know, faith is substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. That's faith.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is if you don't have that, no matter what you do,
you got to have substance. What do you know?
Well, you got to have a reason for being. And, you know, the more you can get involved with things bigger than yourself, the less you worry about yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you make it all about
otherwise, you just get too far in your head and you're just always mulling over. I could have done it this way. I should have done it that way. And
you're so right. You know, you compete with yourself. You bully yourself. The game is between you and yourself.
We all beat up ourselves. Exactly. It's awful.
Well, that's why all these people showing up get encouraged. You know, I mean,
Look
how
at
many?
this. I caused you to extend your regular 30 minutes to almost 50 minutes now.
Yeah, and you know, who knows? Maybe we got 6 watching, but you know, it's more important for people to know there's a place like this that they can learn, interact, network, get support, and use this as a springboard to continue to build on their own.
I'm
Right?
ready.
You know,
I'm
ride
so ready. I'm
the
here.
wave with someone already doing it
Yep.
versus a bunch of one person jack of all
Cowboys,
trades. Okay,
cowboys
we're
and
there.
cowgirls.
So, anyways, everybody check out whatever I asked you to check out.
Yep.
And the last thing is share this with your people. If it's good for you, it's good for people like you. That would be a feather in your hat and their hat, and really define what's on the board, which is LinkedIn win-win-win.
Love what you're doing. Love what you're doing, Don.
Well,
I'm good for
made
next
you made
Tuesday or
it
Wednesday
for
if you
both of us.
wanna have a call.
Yeah, and I'll send you right after this. I'll send you a link to my Zoom calendar, and then I'll get you as a real guest or a beginning guest.
This was
Now
really on the fly right here.
drop in.
Yeah.
So great. Thanks everybody for showing up. Any last words you have?
I appreciate the opportunity. I actually think LinkedIn as well. I've been a LinkedIn member, I don't know, since they literally started this platform, and I've always been a huge fan of what LinkedIn's doing. Just think that they've really done a good job of creating good quality, and this just kind of puts a point on kind of where it is today. This is where it's at. This is organic. This is real. This is where we want to go. This is where I want to go. So thank you very much.
Oh, listen, I'm happy, and then I can be happier, right? And you made it a lot happier today by diving in. And you should be proof positive of everybody who is on the sidelines, who can now step into the spotlight.
Yeah.
And other people there.
Maybe I encourage somebody, because I had no idea when I woke up this morning. I had my breakfast, I had my pancakes, and I'm like, what am I going to do today? I'm texting a couple of friends, and I'm like, oh, LinkedIn, let's see if I have any messages. And so this is amazing. So thank you again so much.
Well, thank you, because it's what it takes. And like I mentioned earlier, if you can't do it, could we do it? And that's really the philosophy. And don't have to do it on your own. There's people who are there to help, who enjoy helping, because they know that's what helps them. We've got Troy Miller. I haven't seen you, but thank you. And there's so many people who are still not announcing themselves, and that's fair. Everybody's got their comfort zone. Everybody's got their time and place. But what I will say is I really respect and appreciate the people who took the time and trouble to be here today, because I know it was at the expense of something else you would have done. And I think the key thing to leave you with, maybe 2 things, is everything you do either takes you closer or further away from your goal, right?
Good point.
So if you're watching cartoons now, and you say, I had an issue with not getting enough done or achieving enough, maybe that's a time to redirect some of that time. People say, I don't have enough time. I say, how much time don't you got? Right? We're working the same thing. And the other thing I want to share with you is the definition of a big shot is a little shot that keeps shooting. And I think if there's one takeaway, you can't beat someone who doesn't quit. You just can't do it. You know what I mean? And start with where you are, with who you are, with what you got, and see how fast you can get away from there then, right? Elevate. So anyways, we could talk forever, and I do.
Oh, absolutely.
And
that's entrepreneurialism right there.
Well, after doing it for 37 years, I bring the best of old school to new cool LinkedIn.
You're my kind of guy. You're my kind of guy.
One step at a time. This is to take time, my friend, is to invest the time. Yes. You're right, and I hope everybody values themselves more for this experience, knows that they could, when you're 10 feet from safety or a mile, you feel the same lost. But you got to know that there's people already on the other side, and it's working. Yes. So there's no reason you can't, right?
Absolutely. We're in turbulent times these days, and there's a lot of people with a lot of good questions. And sometimes you just have to get the courage to ask those questions. And this is a good platform to start there.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been, put in places and situations they never expected.
Yep.
Right. And now it gives everybody a chance to really be valued on what they can do, not on how they got to where they were. It's a fresh slate. Last thing I keep saying, but this is it. Everything today is like musical chairs with faster music and less chairs. Right.
Right. Well, I read some things that are very interesting in my news feed this week. That's really talking about how companies now are not looking at the college degree stuff as much anymore, and they're starting now to focus on what are the skill sets that you can bring to the table. They're getting so desperate for getting high quality people into their businesses. It's not about just the college degree anymore, and so I think it's interesting how things are changing that way.
Yeah, and being dynamic, you want to be on the front end, the cutting edge. There's a saying, if you're not working on the edge, you're taking up too much space.
I like that.
Right? Because you can always go back to yesterday. This isn't blood and guts.
Absolutely.
So anyways, with that wonderful last saying, goodbye till tomorrow at 11 a.m. every day. And thank you all so much. And thank yourself all so much for taking the time and hopefully making this a springboard. Like we were just talking, this could be the first day of the rest of your life that everything starts getting better. And
absolutely,
that's what I'm looking for, is duplicating this through others and using testimonials and reality to justify more involvement. And why not take advantage of 875 million? And if we got 1 million people watching this next week, nothing would change in the world. So
this is exactly how I'm looking at it, Don, honestly. It's like, it's a springboard for me, just out of the blue, just like, whoa, hey, I just started something. I'll be back. Absolutely.
Well, I'll be talking with you.
Thank you.
Appreciate if you want, we can talk right after. So
yeah, fine. Let's do it.
Send me I'll send you a Zoom.
Send me your Zoom, or I'll send you my Teams. I like Teams better than Zoom.
I'm good at that. Okay, goodbye, everybody, and hello